Celtics crib. Caleb, let's talk about the Celtics a little bit. Give them a little deep dive of how your team's been doing and what's been going on in Boston lately.
We've barely been able to play. The last time we recorded, that's whenever I predicted that we would go 0-4 through that stretch because I didn't know if we'd play. We ended up playing one of those games and we won it surprisingly. And then we went on after that. We went on to play the Sixers twice, and then we played the Cavs last night. Um, you know, is what it is. Oh, we did play the Knicks and lose to the Knicks as well. Sorry. So what is that? 2-2 through those 4 games. It's not bad. No, 3-2 because we beat the Cavs too. I'll take that. You look at it. Beat the Magic 124-97. Good, right? Team looks good. We're thinking, oh my gosh, we look fine. Now we haven't had Jason Tatum through this whole stretch, which isn't exactly fun. Then we played the Knicks.
Mask.
Well, I wish I could, but I don't have Jason Tatum's number, okay? Then we played the Knicks, 105-75. They smoked us. And then I'm thinking, oh boy, maybe Jalen can't be the number one guy for this part time. And then we played the Sixers twice, smoked by them, but Jalen looked good in both those games. He had 42 the last game against the 76ers. I'm thinking, okay, well, some of the teams out with COVID. I can't really fault the team too much for struggling right now because while they did lose both games of the Sixers, they were competitive for the most part. And then we played the Cavaliers last night. And then Jaylen Brown scored 33 points in just 19 minutes on 18 shots. Ridiculous. Celtics put up 141 points. I want to really talk about that Cavs game because that was our best game. I don't really want to talk about the other stuff because we're all over the place. But that Cavs game, that's where you see the potential with the Celtics roster. And you see Carson Edwards put up 18. Now, again, it's the Cavs. But the same Cavs team beat the Brooklyn Nets twice. So we're going to brag about this. You see Carson Edwards put up 18 points. People are saying, well, with Peyton Pritchard out with that knee injury, does that mean that Carson Edwards earned the backup point guard spot? Let's calm down. Pritchard did hurt his knee against the 76ers. It was a strained MCL. It wasn't anything serious. He'll be out 2-3 weeks. So I'm never going to hand the keys over to Carson Edwards. Also, Aaron Nesmith really got his first time to shine, really. He had played 17 minutes against the Cavaliers. That's a season high, career high for him. And he looked a lot better. He looked more comfortable. He handled the ball a little bit, which was shocking to me because I was like, I kind of viewed him as a guy that was going to be used like Duncan Robinson, running around, hovering at the three-point line, just moving without the ball. And he had the ball in his hands and hit a three off the dribble, and I was like, off a screen. I was like, I didn't really know he had that in him. Granted, he banked that in, but you know what? I don't care. Bank's open. But, he airballed a three. But again, I'm living with those shots. They're open shots. He just looks a little bit nervous when he catches it sometimes. And a big part of him figuring that out is playing through those stretches where he makes a mistake, makes something like that. In a game where you win 141-103, good to have him out there. It's good to let him experiment, try new things, handle the ball a little bit. As far as the week goes, I'm okay with it. We're recording this on Monday. So they get Jason Tatum back tonight versus the Bulls. We'll have to see how they do. I'm not going to expect too much from Tatum coming back from COVID. I don't know how his endurance is going to be because we've seen other athletes get a little bit messed up with it. Mo Bamba still can't even play big stretches, and he got it a year ago.
I still can't even walk upstairs without heavily breathing.
Exactly, but you're not a pro athlete. You're just a little fella from Sacramento. So wow. I don't know. As for the Celtics, we have the Bulls, Spurs, and then the Lakers on the 30th, which is going to be a good game. It's at 8:30. Are you going to be watching, Amir?
Yes, I will be watching, and I want to get into that in just a second. Before we do our predictions, let's talk about it again. Real quick, I want to recap from this week. So I thought the Celtics have been doing okay. I mean, obviously, without Tatum, they're going to struggle, right? They've lost to the Knicks and lost 2 in a row to the Sixers. But again, our Sixers were on our super hot Fire 5 team. They were one of those teams that have been really, really well lately, and they have had Embiid and Ben. Now, I understand that there's going to be injuries. There's going to be COVID. There's going to be a lot of stuff, so no excuses, right? You got to figure it out. But the Celtics have done a good job. One thing that I saw from a lot of Celtics Twitter was hating on Jaylen Brown, and that's one thing I wanted to really talk about. I don't really care about the rest of the stuff. Now, Celtics winning and losing games doesn't matter to me. They're going to be a top 4 team in the East at the end of it all. So these wins and losses are just kind of it's kind of just like a run through. It's not really anything serious. Now, a guy like Jaylen Brown, I look at him and I'm like, what potential does he have? Does he have potential to be the number one guy on a team? I don't know that. I don't think he has that ability. But that's the good part of having a luxury of having a guy like Jason Tatum. You have your number one guy, and you can see the glaring hole without him. Now, from the games that I've been able to watch, they haven't looked very good without Jason Tatum. But that's a very good sign to me, because that tells me that Jason Tatum is your guy. That tells me Jason Tatum is what people assume Luka Doncic to be, the future of the league. And I look at a guy like Jason Tatum, and I wouldn't be surprised if when he comes back tonight against the Bulls, he has a big game. Why? Because that's the type of player he is. This past week, he posted 3 stats of himself comparing himself to, Jordan and LeBron and some of the stuff that he did. And that's not to show off. That's just kind of to give himself confidence and validation that he is one of those guys, that he can be one of those guys that can lead his own team to a championship.